The Breakfast Show on Faith FM with Skafy and Dan. This is the new version of our breakfast show. Our text line is 0491 064 669. And you're listening across Australia on 87.6, 87.8, or 88, depending on where you are. Of course, as always, this is the best place to start your day with positive and with uplifting thoughts. Dan here is with me. Good morning to you, Dan.
Good morning, Skafy.
And we have producer Sandy at the desk. Good morning to you, Sandy.
Good morning.
It's good to have you both here. Of course, good morning to you, listener, from wherever you are tuning in. Today, if you're listening live, is the 9th of January. It's a Friday, 6 a.m.
I can't believe it's 2026 and we're already more than a week in.
That's right.
Crazy.
We're almost 10 days into the new year.
Yeah.
Over a week. Yeah, it's going very fast. Last year went out so fast. I do not know about you if you have that impression. And it looks to me like that every year that comes, like the
time is getting
faster and faster.
Is there something about Einstein's theory of relativity that we're not catching up on?
Yes, I don't know exactly what it is, but it is certainly a psychological thing.
Yeah.
Then, okay, let's start with our exchange of gratitude. Yeah, today I found out that today is the International Day of Choreographers.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever expressed being grateful for choreography. But looking back, many times I have been touched and really appreciated dancers doing, beautiful, God-glorifying choreography. Actually, there is one specific Christian dancing group in America, in the United States. It's called Paradosi. And what they do is this.
That sounds like a Greek word.
It is. It sounds like a Greek word because it is. I don't know the meaning of it. I haven't researched. But what they do is they dance ballet, classical ballet.
Yeah.
To modern, contemporary Christian songs. I'll give you an example here. One of my favorite works of them is Mary Did You Know, which is one of my favorite around Christmas style songs. And they do this absolutely beautiful choreography, and everything about the choreography is so full of grace. Even their costumes or the dresses that they wear, they're so modest, and they sometimes go to public places and they dance, and they really gather multitudes around them to witness their dancing. But ultimately, they're bringing in glory to God, and they're sharing amazing, beautiful gospel songs.
That's awesome.
So I'm very grateful for them. If anyone wants, for me to send the YouTube link, just text me here 0491 064 669. I'm more than happy to send you a video or two about some of my favorite pieces. What about you, Dan? Are you grateful for anything this morning?
I am grateful for health. I'm going to be talking a bit later in my good news segment on something to do with my health. But right now, I'm thankful for my gut health being much better than it was for 20 years. I had issues. But anyway, I'm really grateful for good health.
Really, looking forward to hear about that testimony.
In the weather today, we have a bit of a hot one. In Sydney, mostly sunny and 33. In Melbourne, a scorcher. 43, windy, a late cool change, possibly a storm. Brisbane, a top of 29 and partly cloudy. Perth, partly cloudy at a top of 29. Adelaide, mostly sunny and 32. Hobart, a shower or two and 25. Canberra, sunny and a top of 39. Darwin, a shower or two and maybe a storm and 33. And here in Newcastle, a top of 36 and sunny.
And in today's show, then, we are going to be talking about how to get a good night of sleep. If you are struggling with insomnia or if you're struggling with anxiety, how can you actually go to bed and sleep peacefully? This is going to be our first section. Following that, in our news segment, I'm going to be talking about a news that there's some interesting things about it. Some good things and some not so good things. But there's a very famous, apparently, adult film star that gave her life to Jesus through baptism.
That's awesome.
Or did she?
Okay.
And that's the question that we are going to be looking.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Okay, then, are you ready for a quiz question?
I don't think I am. based on yesterday and the day before, I don't think I am. What have you got for us?
Ready
Sandy?
or not, here we go.
Well, disclaimer here, I am reading questions prepared by Shell, so,
I'm even more nervous.
feedback to Shell. Our first question this morning, which Israelite tribe is not mentioned in the book of Revelation in the sealing of the 144,000?
I think I know this one.
You should know this one, of all people, then.
Which Israelite tribe is not mentioned in the book of Revelation in the sealing of the 144,000? Both correct answers right off the bat. Good one, guys.
I want to hear
I'm not so nervous now.
why. Sorry, Sandy. I just want to hear how did Dan remember this?
Oh, it's a puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think this is a fact. Like, I heard once in a sermon a long time ago. I do not know if it was the same sermon, and like that clicked to me. But I'm wondering, like, how did you remember that?
Probably not. I'm pretty sure that it won't be the same way.
Okay. Well, we'll find out later.
Listeners can text their answers to 0491064669. One last time to repeat the question. Which Israelite tribe is not mentioned in the book of Revelation in the sealing of the 144,000? Revelation chapter 7, 0491064669. Let us know what you think.
Perfect. And also let us know if you were born in January. We have a great news for you. No, it's not some kind of tax scheme. You know how sometimes you go to the website and say, if you were born before this date, click here and we're going to have some, tax scheme for you. No, it's not a tax scheme. It's something way, way better. It is a special gift from The Breakfast Show. So if you were born in January, let us know here. We are going to not only pray for you and ask the God of heaven to pour out all of his blessings upon your life and that of your family. But if that was not sweet enough, we also have a gift that you can choose from. It's going to be a draw because we don't have an unlimited stock of gifts. But your chances are nil until you send us your date of birth. So just give us your date of birth. It doesn't need to give the year if you want, just the day and the month if it's in January, and you will get into the draw. You can get an amazing Bible. You can get a very luxurious, beautiful edition of the Bible, by the way, with a zipper vegan leather cover and everything.
Yeah, awesome.
Or you can get, you can choose a board game. You can choose. We have a bunch of other cookbooks. We have a lot of. We have something for everyone, and we really want you to get that. So participate, join in 0491 064 669. Let us know your date of birth if it's in January, and you are automatically getting into the draw. Every month we award a gift to people born in that month. Okay, then, with that being said, my question is, have you ever experienced a level of anxiety or stress that really kept you awake at night? It made it hard to fall asleep. Have you been through that situation?
I'm sure the answer is yes. Can I remember it? No.
Yeah. I'm a little bit like you. I'm British. I know it is yes. For my case, there were cases where I went to bed and was so upset at something that was just not working out, where I was perplexed, trying to understand something, and I had trouble falling asleep.
Yeah.
And I think this is not an uncommon experience to a lot of people. I think that a lot of people struggle. I, for one, know that in my family of origin, particularly in my father's side of the family, they had a hard time processing stress and falling asleep, to the point that I think that all of my aunties and uncles and my father as well, they all had to resort to medications, actual strong medications to help them relax and go to sleep.
Yeah, wow.
The problem with that method, though, and I know that thousands, if not millions, of people worldwide are on these sleeping pills, and I'm not here to tell you, hey, stop taking your medication. That's not my role. If you do anything, do it in consultation with your health practitioner. But what I have observed is that while these medications can perhaps help to induce someone to sleep, they're not really resolving the underlying problem.
Right.
Because at least judging from my family's perspective, from my parent, my father, my aunties, my uncles, this was something that they were taking recurringly day after day, or better say night after night after night after night again, nonstop. And of course, with any chemical, with any medication, that brings dependence on a medication, that brings side effects, and most importantly, you're not really resolving the underlying condition. If it was just a short-term thing, voila, I can say, okay, it's just short-term. It was a crutch for a time that I needed the most. But I'm talking here about people that have chronically been struggling to put their thoughts at ease, savor, a sweet peace that comes from God, and then closing their eyes and sleeping till the next day. Maybe this is your listener. I don't know. Let us know. Have you ever, do you struggle? And if so, for how long? 0491-064-669. We can keep your comment anonymous if you wish. But I'm not here to talk about the problem merely then. I'm here because
we have a solution.
We have a solution. The Bible talks about it. This is not a 21st century problem, apparently. This problem exists since the world is world. And we have a psalm here. And this psalm is part of our Bible reading plan. And we are reading the Bible in a year. If you'd like to read us, you can join us. You can text us #Bible Plan. We will send you the Bible plan. And the psalm that we are going to be reading today is Psalm number 3. Psalm number 3. It's in my Bible here. It has a subtitle, and I'm reading from the New American Standard Bible. And the subtitle is A Morning Prayer of Trust in God. That being said, I think that this subtitle, which is not in the Bible originally, by the way, this is it's a modern editing, so we can remember what the psalm is.
And just to demonstrate that, the subheading in mine says, a psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son.
Yeah, so this subtitle is actually in the Bible.
That one?
That one is.
Okay. Yeah.
But the other one that I mentioned, some Bibles, they bring often, sometimes what the Bibles do, like they bring a subtitle to certain chapters. Particularly if they're famous, if they have famous names.
Yeah, right.
So this
the faith chapter or something like that. Yeah,
that's right. So this Psalm 3 is known in history as a psalm of a morning trust. I don't know if it's really a psalm of morning trust. I personally will dispute that, but I'll leave it to you to judge if it's adequate or not. I probably would subtitle it something else. But let's read the psalm and let's understand what's going on. And you gave here a very important context. This psalm was written by David in a very specific circumstance of his life. He was fleeing from his son Absalom, who wanted to overthrow his kingdom.
Yeah,
and literally kill his father and take over his throne.
Yeah. So the subheading in my version is "The Lord helps His troubled people." The other subheading, they've got two.
Okay, so that's the one that it's at.
The one that the editorial license.
That's the editorial one.
So do you want me to read?
Yeah, let's read the first stanza here, verses 1 and 2.
The Lord, they have increased who trouble me. Many are they who rise up against me. Many are they who say of me, there is no help for him in God.
Yeah. Let's just pause here. Yeah. By the way, do you know that what
Salah is pause?
Salah is just a pause.
Yeah.
Meditative pause, or reflection, or something like that, or it's a change, because the Psalms, they were often sung. Yeah. So it says, David is saying, "Oh Lord, how my adversaries have increased." He's looking around and saying, "Man, like my adversary, I already have some. I already had problems. How have my problems been increasing lately? It's beyond me."
Yeah.
Like his son. Like, I mean, your son is seeking your life. That is a problem. That is a problem, an A-level problem. And it says, "Many are rising up against me. Many are saying of my soul, there is no deliverance for him in God." So on top of that, I think I can relate to that saying of David, because not only he's realizing, hey, I'm looking around and my problems are multiplying. And it can be the same. It can be the case in our own personal life. Perhaps our children do not want to, cut our throats, thankfully. But sometimes we have other problems. Sometimes we have problems with our kids. Perhaps they don't want to talk to us anymore if they are adult kids. Perhaps, we are accumulating health problems that we didn't even know we had.
or problems at work.
Problems at work, problems, all kinds of problems in our relationships, in marriages, in you name it. In the world, sometimes that they are affecting you. So David is crying out to God and saying, God, like, my problems have been increasing. My adversaries have been increasing. And people are saying of me, there is no deliverance for him in God. To make matters worse, people are doubting his sincerity with God. And they're judging his heart. Like, people are judging him. Have you been to that situation where you felt that, hey, man, like, there's people that are judging my motives, my intentions. You don't remember giving them any reason to do so. But to make matters worse, people are misrepresenting him.
Yeah.
And they're doubting his sincerity. And they're basically already judging and condemning him, saying, look, David, look, he's a lost cause. There's no salvation for him anymore.
Yeah. I can relate. I have had experiences like that where, everyone seems to just turn against you. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
maybe not everyone, but it feels like
but
everyone at the moment.
It feels like everyone, or the most important or very important people, are turning against you, and then you start, having conversations in your head. You start talking back at them. You start trying to defend yourself, and all these things are taking from that state of peace that we enjoy being part of. So let's keep reading here, because this is the situation where David is going. So David is going through some full-on psychological stress here. But then he goes on verse 3. So let's see what David does about that.
But you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory and the one who lifts up my head. I cried to the Lord with my voice, and he heard me from his holy hill.
Yeah. This is like, so it couldn't be simpler. What did David do? He prayed to God.
Yeah.
And he says, Lord, you are my shield.
And he starts not just with a plea of, where are you, God? He starts with a praise. God, you are my shield.
That's right. You are the one who protects me.
Yeah.
And I believe that he could have maybe he thought about instances in the past where God protected him. He remembered that. It says, you are my glory and the one who lifts up my head. Like, you're the one that I love. You're the one that I am trying to please in the end of the day. And if I have any sense of dignity, Lord, it's not coming from the people around me, because they're not giving me not even the dignity of the benefit of the doubt. Lord, you are the one that gives me my dignity.
Yeah.
You are the one who lifts up my head. You are the one who cheers me up.
Yeah.
And he said, and he answered me from his holy mountain. God gave him an answer. We don't know exactly what the answer is. He's not saying quite yet. But he prayed to God, said, God, can you please help me? Can you please be my shield? Can you please, can I please see can I please feel my dignity through your eyes? And then we go through verse 5 and 6, the consequences of that, the results of that prayer.
Yeah. I lay down and slept. I awoke, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around.
Yeah.
So he could sleep.
He could sleep. And I think that I could not emphasize verse 5 again. I laid down and slept.
Yeah.
Because if we're just reading this psalm casually, it's like, oh yeah, he just went to sleep. That's normal. We do that every day. He said, no. He mentioned that he could finally lay down and sleep, even though he was being persecuted by his son, even though his neck is on the line, even though he's fleeing and sleeping in caves and mountains, and he doesn't even have a roof over his head. He is now persona non grata in his own kingdom,
in his own family,
within his own family.
Yeah.
And then he said, look, and actually I could actually sleep without taking any pills.
Yeah.
Because guess what? They were not available in David's time. It says, I lay down and slept. And he did not continue to sleeping, because when you are in a depression, then, and I think that David had all the reasons in the world to be caught in a very, very heavy depression here. When you're in a depression, you don't really feel like waking up. You just want to keep sleeping and sleeping and sleeping and sleeping as much as you can until your body says, enough, let's just go and do something.
Yeah, yeah.
But he says, I lay down and slept, and I awoke.
And then I awoke.
Yeah. And he woke up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the blessing of sleep as God intended it for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sweet sleep, And wake up
Sweet
refreshed.
sleep, even though everything around you is claiming, hey, you shouldn't sleep. You should be worried about things.
Yeah. And then you should stay asleep because it's too scary to wake up.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to continue. We're going to continue because this psalm hasn't finished yet. And we are going to look at the second part of that psalm and then see practical steps of how to claim that promise for God and how to claim that peace in spite of our problems mounting up one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. But before we do so, I want to tell you this, my friend. One of the best things to claim God's promises and to relieve stress and anxiety is by memorizing and singing some of these psalms. I'll tell you, it's not as complicated as it looks. If you sing that psalm, if you have a good scripture song and you listen to it a few times, you will see automatically your brain will start memorizing these tunes. Haven't we all memorized tunes that even without necessarily making an effort to? Of course we do. And this is how the human brain is designed to work. Psalm 3 has a phenomenal scriptural song by one of my very, very favorite authors and artists. Her name is Esther Mui. If you'd like for me to send you the link for that scripture song, for that particular psalm, text me here, 0491-064-669 with the word #psalm, and I will send you the link. And with that, you can listen to that song, you can listen to that psalm being sung, and I believe that this will help you. You can just listen to it before you go to bed. This will help put your thoughts at ease and trust in God and have that night of sleep that David is talking about.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Let's get into the answer to the quiz question, the previous one. And I'm keen to hear how Dan memorized and remembers that.
How we know the answer to this question.
The Israelite tribe not mentioned in the sealing of the 144,000 is the tribe of Dan.
I wonder what
How
Michelle
are
was
you going
thinking.
to remember?
What Michelle was thinking when she put the question in. So the reason that I remember this is that my parents don't really like the nickname Dan. I get Dan a lot, and it doesn't worry me at all. But they don't like it, and the reason is that they don't like it is because Dan
disappeared.
Yes. There was a couple of things in his character that the son of Jacob named Dan that weren't awesome, and the fact that he isn't listed in the list of tribes in Revelation. But look, there are several lists of tribes, and each time it's a different tribe that's left out. And there's some significance to that. It's not that Dan's been struck off the list, but there is meaning and significance, and it's not, the narrative isn't just that Dan is wiped off the face of the Israelite map forever. But yeah, that's the reason I remember the answer.
Great.
How do you remember it?
Well, how do I remember it is when I was years back, I was studying the book of Revelation, and the teacher pointed it out. That there's one tribe that was missing, and the tribe was the tribe of Dan. And then one of the reasons that he gave, which I found interesting, is the meaning of the word Dan. Dan means judge. Yeah. So Daniel, which is your name, Daniel
God is my judge.
Yeah, that's right. God is my judge. So Dan is the judge. So basically the application that the preacher at the time made is that Dan is missing out from the final list of the tribes, the 144,000, because you cannot have, God will not have as part of his, last end of times people that judge others.
Right.
That's right. Judging others is something that Jesus says not to do, and Dan is taking out of that as a remembering that God's people, those who are going to spend eternity with Him in heaven, they're not the kind of people that judge others.
Yes, that's right.
And we spoke a little bit about that, judging others and so on. It's not talking about having discernment and judging actions and contrasting them to the Bible, but it's really judging others, like David is feeling judged here in this psalm. He's totally being judged here when people says there's no salvation in him in God. That's one way of judging others. We're going to go into our new quiz question now, and then we're going to come back to our Bible study today on Psalm 3, how to reclaim a good night of sleep if you are struggling to fall asleep, if you are being bombarded with all kinds of stressful thoughts. So, Sandy, what's quiz question number 2?
Number 2, what group that was supposed to be able to see into the future could not save Babylon from destruction? What group that was supposed to be able to see into the future couldn't save Babylon from destruction? 0491064669. Thinking,
Okay, I think
guys.
I know. Shell is really, expanding her repertoire
She's
of,
up to
asking
the ante,
questions.
hasn't she? What group that was supposed to be able to see into the future could not save Babylon from destruction? 0491064669. Send us your thoughts.
Lots of words.
Dan is on it.
Okay, good.
That's right.
There's
good
lots
job.
of words that one
Skafy,
could
what have you
choose
got
from.
for me? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, we got there eventually, guys. Well done.
Very good. So if you do know the answer to that one, 0491064669, what group who claimed to have powers over, of seeing the future, declaring the future, were not able to predict the fall of Babylon.
Or help prevent it.
Or to help even to prevent it.
They were powerless.
That's right. Let's get back here into our Psalm 3, Dan.
So, a question for you,
Yeah.
Skafy. Why are we in Psalm 3? Remind us why we're...
We're in Psalm 3. We are reading through the Bible in a year.
We
That's
were
our
in
plan.
Psalm 1 yesterday. We skipped Psalm 2. What happened to Psalm 2?
We did skip Psalm 2. We have to be selective about how much we can cover because
there's about 1,200 or 1,300 chapters in the Bible or something like that.
that's right. That's
and
right.
only about 300 days that we're on radio, less than 300 days that we're on radio in the year.
That's right. That's right. So we have to be selective here. So before the show starts, I pray, say, God, can you please help me? So I'm picking it from a short list,
Right.
And the short list is being that first week, first and second week of the Bible reading plan that we are following. The Amazing Facts Bible Reading Plan, which is one of my favorite Bible reading plans. If you'd like to send me a message.
That's available online, isn't it?
It is available online. You can
If you
download.
want us to send you the one that we're following,
Just text us.
us on 0491 064 669. Sorry, Skafy, you were
Yeah.
about to launch back into Psalm chapter 3.
That's right. So David, he lay down, he slept, he relaxed, and he was able to wake up because he says, the Lord sustained me. And he even goes on to say, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me round about. So I think he even went, not only he went to sleep, not only he woke up, but he woke up with renewed strength and courage.
Yeah, with a fresh mind.
The fresh mind said, you know what, Lord, you can actually send me even more problems. and I'm not going to be afraid of them.
Yeah. Isn't it nice to be able to just jump out of bed fresh in the morning, feeling ready to go, awake, sharp? This is David.
This is David, and so he was not setting back, and everything changed when he heard and he answered God from God heard him and answered him from his holy mountain. And I believe that the part of the answer, at least, that God might have given to him is in verses 7 and verse 8. So this is the finale of the psalm. Let's read verses 7 and 8 here, Dan, and let's see how David finishes up his psalm.
Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for you have struck all my enemies on the cheekbone. You have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing is upon your people.
Okay, let's just pause here because I think this is the key. This is the key that unlocks even the rest of this psalm.
Right.
He says, arise, O Lord, save me, O God. So he woke up. He was feeling confident. He's saying, God, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid even if 10,000 people now surround me, on top of all of my problems. And what did he do? Did he continue on his strength? No, he actually came back to kind of square one and said, hey, God, please save me. By the way, I need you to save me. I need you to help me from all these problems. I'm trusting, I'm relying on you to help me out. And this is what he said here, and I love this construction. And in Hebrew, it is a very interesting construction here. For you have smitten all my enemies on the cheek. You have shattered the teeth of the wicked. Now, we're talking symbolic language here. He's saying, God, you have solved all my problems, and there's nothing left. You have solved them straight on, bang on, head on, and And so the way that that David uses that is like, you've crushed them, you've smitten all my enemies in the cheek. Now the question for you then is, has God already smitten all of David's enemies in the cheek? Has God already saved and delivered David from his anxiety?
I believe not. I don't think that. I think my understanding of the story isn't completely up to date, but I'm pretty sure Absalom was still running around trying to overthrow the king, to take over the kingdom.
That is right.
And the way that that Absalom was eventually overthrown doesn't match this story. For one, David didn't count Absalom as his enemy.
Yeah.
He was his son. Yeah. And the way that Absalom died was not being smashed in the teeth or on the cheekbone.
That's right.
So this isn't talking about the demise of Absalom.
That is right. And this comes in Hebrew. The verb here for you have smitten me, it's in the perfect. And perfect is a very interesting Bible construction because it is this way of saying it's saying about something that is going to happen in the future, but you portray it as something that has happened in the past.
Right.
It is almost like let's say that I ask you to help me doing some practical farm stuff, since you're good at that. Let's say I ask you to, hey, Dan, can you mow my lawn? I know they have one of these big ride-on lawn mowers that looks like a...
And my answer, it's done.
Yeah, I would say this. Hey, by the way, so say, your answer, you can say it's done. And I can say, hey, by the way, thank you for mowing my lawn. Even though you haven't mown my lawn, I know that you're going to get there. You're going to, load your lawnmower into your trailer. You're going, I have such a trust that you are going to do what you said you're going to do. And that I'm already thanking you ahead of time.
And my language as well is it's done.
It's done.
That's what the perfect tense
That's
means.
right. Yeah. It's perfect tense. That's exactly right. It's almost like when we say for people in a hopeful tone, sometimes you're writing an email to someone and you can say, hey, thanks in advance. You don't even know if that person's going to help you.
Yeah.
This is particularly useful, Sandy. If you're trying to if you're complaining against airlines or car rental companies, and you have a very, very small hope that they are actually going to solve your problem.
I'm going to try this out on my teenagers. Thanks in advance, guys, for doing
Thanks
your
in
chores.
advance. Thanks for doing your chores. Yes. But this is what happened here. Now, there's another element here. You can say that David had seen his fair share of salvation and deliverance in the past. He was a man of war, he was a warrior, and he has seen God delivering him.
Yeah.
So I think there is an element here that you can say, hey, David is thanking God and remembering for all of the deliverances that he has experienced in the past, and therefore he's confident that God is going to deliver in the future. But I think here in this psalm, in this context here, David is thanking God in advance for something that God hasn't done yet, but that God was going to do somehow. He was going to deliver him from his enemies, even the enemies that he didn't consider to be his enemies. Because Absalom, while he was David's son, David did not consider him an enemy. He was acting like an enemy.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the harsh reality of that story.
Yeah, and it's the principle of God protecting us from those things which are against us, which David is thankful for. It's not the crushing of his son Absalom. It's God protecting from all that's against me. Yeah. And right now, in the story, David's son Absalom is against his father. But yeah,
absolutely. And then we have here, he finishes up saying, "Salvation belongs to the Lord." And I think that this is the key. This is where I want to land this Bible study. It says, "Salvation belongs to the Lord." And then in my life, in your life, listener, in your life as well, salvation belongs to the Lord. And I have to say this in a way that is going to be understood. I am not saying that there's nothing you can do about the problems that you have around you. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. It's completely out of your hands. But sometimes there are things that you can do. But even in those stances, and I'm not advocating here for passivity here. God save me, your salvation belongs to you, I'm not going to do anything. No. But even in those circumstances, there are things you can do about yourself. Salvation still belongs to the Lord. Because it is God who is going to work out the results, the outcomes of number on the effort.
And,
It is God
and
that
he
is.
holds our life in his hand. Like
He's the one
he
who
is
holds our
giver.
life in our hands.
Yeah.
He's the one who is going to give us wisdom and instruction through his word so that we can figure out what to do. He's the one who gives us the energy to wake up in the morning to run after it and to try to resolve these things. And ultimately, with the things that we cannot control, well, God is in control of these things. So David is realizing here and saying, hey, you know what? I have a massive problem. I do not know how to resolve it. There's thousands of people around me. People are judging me. People are kicking me. People are trying to kill me. I lost my house. I lost everything. I lost my family. I'm losing my reputation. But he says, you know, God, salvation belongs to you. I am your servant, and I am not going to carry the weight of having to save myself on my shoulders. It is not on me. I'm actually going to trust in you. I'm going to trust in you, and I know that you are going to save me somehow. I don't know how, but you are going to. And that's why I can rest. Because I can see that whatever situation that you are going through, is it problems at work? Is it problems financially? Is it problems relationship? Is it whatever is the problem? Sure, there are things you can do about it. Of course, I'm sure that there are things you can do about it. But God is the one who needs to be consulted if you want to find the solutions for these problems. And most importantly, when you're looking at all these problems, you say, no, God, you know what, God? I'm actually going to wait on your salvation. Salvation belongs to you. I'm not going to save myself. I'm not going to put the pressure upon myself that it's all on me, because it's not. So ultimately, God is on you. And I'll do my best, but even my best might not be enough. But you know what?
Yeah,
I'm not worried.
Our best is never really enough, is it?
Yeah. Oh,
in any situation.
Seldom. That's right. Even if you say, look, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to, to walk according to the wisdom that you have given. But you know what, God, my problems, you know what, I'm actually going to trust in you. How good is it if you had someone in your life that whatever is the problems that you have, you say, you know what, God, I know that someone stronger than me, more capable than me, with more resources than me, they are going to come to my rescue.
I like what you said before, though, that this isn't a license for just passivity.
No,
no. It's not a situation where, look, I can't do it. I'm not enough. I need God. Therefore, I'm not going to do anything. That's not what we're saying.
That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
This is the awake part. David awoke. If that was enough, just say, I went to sleep and I just stayed asleep. No,
yeah.
he had to wake up. He had to do things.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he realized, hey, you know what? This situation is a helpless situation. And instead of me trying to figure out how to solve the problems of the world, I'm actually going to trust in God. And I'm going to say, hey, God, by the way, God, I'm actually thanking you for saving me from that situation. I know you're going to save me from that situation. I know that you are going to resolve that situation and put everything at peace again.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I have no idea how.
Yeah.
But I know you're going to do this. And I can actually bank on that fact, and I can bank on that account. This is what allows me to lay down and
have
sleep.
good sleep.
Yes. Yeah. This is finally says, your blessing be upon your people. So no, ultimately, God, I want your blessing to be upon your people. Remember, it was the people of God that were a portion of it that were persecuting God. And David's in his last stanza, he says, you know what, God, ultimately what I want to happen is that the well-being of all of those around me are brought by you. Yeah. You know what? Whatever it is done, Lord, may your will be done so that the best outcome for your people is what is the end result.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder what his sleep stats on his Garmin app.
Yeah. I think he would. I think after you pray like that, after you trust in God like this, I'm pretty sure that you can really sleep like a baby.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Dan, we're talking about Psalm 3 today, and this is a psalm that really touches my heart, very, very deeply, particularly when I'm going through periods of intense stress or, with more difficulties in my life. I don't think that anybody will be immune from having these periods here. So what I want to offer to you, radio friend, if this has been your experience, if you've been finding yourself, having trouble to go to bed, having trouble to sleep, if you're finding yourself, struggling with anxious thoughts, trying to wonder how to solve the problems of the world. I remember my father then, he very distinctively, I mentioned that he needed to take pills to go to bed. And I remember that oftentimes not even the pills would help him because he was just, he had such a heavy load of stress over his shoulder. And he was trying to figure out how he was going to provide for his family, how he was going to pay the bills and all these kinds of things that sometimes he wouldn't sleep at all. And that would affect the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But God has a solution for that. And it is to trust in Him and to recognize that the salvation for whatever problem belongs to the Lord. And if you want to experience that salvation, I cannot recommend anything better than singing that particular psalm. Psalm chapter 3.
Yeah.
And I have a scripture song that I can share it with you so you can listen to it again and again. You can memorize it. You can practice. You can just put it to play before you go to bed if you don't want to memorize it. But I want you to really think and reflect in these words before you go to bed. And I believe that when you sing these words and you meditate upon them, God will bring upon your heart that peace that allowed David to go to bed, to sleep, and to awake feeling fresher and more confident in ever. Not confident in his own broken humanity, but confident in the God that loves him and that was with him. So if you'd like to get the link for this video, just send me a message here saying #video to 0491 064 669. #video to 0491 064 669. I will send that video to you free of charge. And I really hope that you can really experience a peaceful and restful night of sleep. Okay, let's move on. We have to give an answer to the quiz question. I'm wondering, producer Sandy, can you help us with that?
The group that could not save Babylon from destruction, that was supposed to be able to see into the future, according to Isaiah 47, verse 13. There we go. Was the astrologers and the stargazers. So correct answers from both of you.
The astrologers and the stargazers. There you go. Yes. I said the wise men of Babylon.
Yeah, and I was a bit stumped there for trying to figure out which one of those words, like the magi, the wise men, the astrologers, the soothsayers, the...
I mean, I guess they kind of all come into the same group, really, don't they?
Right. Yeah.
And David sent an answer here, and I think that is a good point here. It says that false prophets, one of these categories. And I think that he is into this. So the Bible mentions the presence of false prophets in Jerusalem who gave King Zedekiah false hope and told him not to listen to Jeremiah's warnings that Babylon would not conquer them. So that's a different story. That is a different story. This is the false prophets were telling that, hey, Babylon, we're not going to overcome you. And God is saying, hey, let them overcome you. It's actually going to be a good thing. So false prophets are another category of people who claim to be able to see the future, but they don't.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.